taken to the cleaners. Our pill delivers the exact same results for less than $3. We'll do the math for you. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. Want more? We'll give you 40 blue pills or 40 yellow pills for $99 and add 4 more pills free. You save more than $500. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know what to do next. You need to call and get your 44 pills for just $99. Stop overpaying for the other blue pills. Call us and start saving a ton of money for the exact same results. Ordering is fast and easy with your pills delivered to your door in a non-marked package. 800-223-0992. 800-223-0992. 800-223-0992. That's 800-223-0992.
At 28, I had struggled with opiate and meth addiction for 12 years. I did and said things that the sober me never would have done. One day I realized I was not invincible. I was not exempt. And that's when a friend told me about Elite Rehab Placement. They gave me the tools I needed to get sober, and all it took was the one phone call.
Elite Rehab can help you start to break your addiction problem and get sober in as little as 7 days. And we'll work with your insurance provider to help cover the costs. Plus, we have travel assistance programs to get you here by plane or train. Make this free call right now to learn more. 800-403-5912. 800-403-5912. 800-403-5912. That's 800-403-5912. Are you or is someone you love one of the nearly 1 million Americans living with Parkinson's disease? Every person's experience with Parkinson's is unique, and for many patients and families, that can be one of the most challenging aspects. The Michael J. Fox Foundation built a guide to health. Visit michaeljfox.org/PD360 to download the Parkinson's 360, a guide for navigating the disease. It's free and available right now. That's michaeljfox.org/PD360. Visit today.
And we welcome you back to Picks and Parlays here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network, American Forces, and streaming live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. I'm your host, Nick Geber. Welcome to the show. I promise you some basketball, and quite frankly, there's no one better to do basketball with than this man to my left, right here, the Triple B, Bookie Buster Brown. Bookie Blaster Brown. Doesn't matter. The B's are all the same. Tony, first of all, how did you spend your morning celebrating Mongolian Republic Day? Was it a crazy party you had?
How do you know about all the holidays I know about? I literally sent you the email. I didn't get a reply from you, but we tore it up, man. I had a huge celebration this morning.
Well, hopefully you're going to be staying with us here in the studio for later as we celebrate National Cake Day.
You're kidding me. I'm
Absolutely.
Here all day.
All right.
All day.
Awesome. You can find us here in Las Vegas, by the way. If you want to come visit us, you're welcome to do that. All right, Tony, let's talk NBA because we have some pretty good matches to talk about. Games, excuse me. I keep getting, corrected on this one. Yeah, America. Right. Why don't we start with probably the most intriguing of the three that we have selected, curated for our viewers and listeners' pleasure. Let's talk about Miami versus Houston. Miami right now 12-4, 11-3-2 against the spread. They're 6-1 the last 7. The most recent result was a 117-100 win over Charlotte. Jimmy Butler is unlikely for this game. Justice Winslow has been upgraded to probable. They've gone under in 5 of the last 7 on the road. And then you look at Houston, and they've also got a great record. I mean, 11-6 is, it's not bad, right?
Not bad at all.
8-9 against the spread. They're on a bit of a nightmare 3-game losing streak, though. I mean, they were doing. I mean, it was just all W's, and then they hit this roadblock. Most recently, 123-137 loss to Dallas on Sunday, which of course compounds the misery. Clint Capella's likely a question mark for this game. They've gone under in 9 of the last 13. Triple B. I got Rockets -5 with a total of 227.5. What do you like on this?
It's a very interesting game because we have a lot of dynamics working here. Like you said, the Heat are 12-4, but like they say, good teams win and great teams cover. They're 11-3 against the spread. That's even better. Like, if they're not going to win the game, you're not going to blow them out. Most likely they will cover. However, and I've said this on several shows before, their Eastern Conference good. And I don't know if it's just a Western Conference bias because I live here, or I don't know if it's just because it is what it is. I think the Western Conference is the hardest conference to play in. And so the Heat doing what they're doing in the Eastern Conference is good, but they're coming up against a Rockets team that's been dominating on the West. James Harden's the #1 scorer in the league, and the Rockets are the #1 scoring team. They're at home, and they are 8-0 at home in their last 8 games.
We've done it with the mic again.
We lost the mic.
Yeah, you know, this is something that we do on a regular basis here with you, Triple B.
Yeah, you guys got to give me the good mics.
Well, we do give you the good
You guys
mics.
give me the used mics.
Well, no, we give you the good ones. I promise you here. Okay, now we're back in business.
Now we're back. Well, like I was saying, the Rockets are 8-0 at home, and they play in the Western Conference. So you got something's got to give right here, and I think it's the Heat's winning streak. And Jimmy Butler being out is a huge part of that. Even if they keep the game close, they won't be able to score with the Rockets, and I think James Harden will be a little bit too much for him. I think the Rockets get back on track. Like you said, they've been on a 3-game losing streak. Nobody wins forever. Nobody's going to lose forever. And I think the Rockets get back on track at home, and they win and cover in this one.
Oh, they are -5, so, yeah.
I like the 5 points. And
You do?
As a bonus pick, I also like the under.
You like the under?
The under has been trending for both of these
It's been
teams.
Right, exactly. So, as we mentioned, for Miami,
Jimmy
it's gone
Butler
under.
is out.
Right.
So, that's a lot of star
He's
scoring power.
He's definitely unlikely.
Yeah.
But as we mentioned, the under's 5 of the last 7 on the road for Miami, where they are, of course, on the road. Right. And under in the last 9 of 13 for the Rockets. So
straight up.
All right, good one. I said we were going to go with a more interesting one first.
Right, that was one of the better games of tomorrow's night.
Let's do what I consider the middle interesting game, least interesting. They're all interesting, don't get me wrong, because if you make money on them,
I was
they're
just about to say,
wickedly
making money is always interesting,
yeah,
boss.
right. Let's talk about Timberwolves at Spurs, though. Timberwolves 9-8, 9-8-1 against the spread, coming off a 123-113 win over the Hawks. Shabazz Napier still out for the Timberwolves. 3-7 versus the Spurs over the last 10. The Spurs suck city, 6-12, 4-14 against the spread. They've won 1 of their last 10 games. They're really stinking it up, by the way. Losing most recently 104-114 to the Lakers. They're 1-5 against the spread the last 6 games. Yet they are -2 favorites at 228.5.
Yeah, this is a tough pill to swallow. I mean, 1-9 in the last 10 games, and the one team was versus the Knicks. Like, the Knicks is the worst team in the NBA, so, like, that's a given win right there. The Spurs are struggling. They were 0-9 before that win against the Knicks.
The Spurs are not far from being the worst team in the NBA, the rate they're going.
I mean, just whenever you got Greg Popovich, though, you don't get in that category. He'll coach a bunch of dogs, and he'll make them try. I won't say they're the worst, but they're getting there. They're bad right now. You know what I mean?
They're on that downward trajectory.
But then in the same token, the Timberwolves aren't much better. They only have 9 wins on the season. The reason I think the Spurs are favorite, as they should be, is because they're at home. If they are going to win a game, it would be a home game against a team that they've dominated. Minnesota only has 3 wins in the last 10 games versus the Spurs. And I think the Spurs will get this one, but I wouldn't make a play on it, just to be honest with you. I'm giving you guys the information on it because I know some of you are just going to bet every game out there. This is a game you rather just watch or not watch. You know, there's not a lot of value in every game, and this is one where it can go either way.
So this game is a big pass, Timberwolves at Spurs.
Yeah, it can go either way, but if you had to choose a way, I'd take the Spurs.
You
got to take the home team, and then they've dominated Minnesota.
That's a home team -2, and then you're right, the domination of Minnesota.
Yes,
right,
sir.
exactly. So, all right. Last one we have, kind of a fun one. Sacramento, Philadelphia. This is a good one. Kings, 7-9, 10-6 against the spread, coming off a 102-103 loss to the Celtics. Marvin Bagley. They've also got one other one out whose name escapes me right now. De'Aaron
Fox.
Thank you. And they're ranked 18th in the league for field goals, 29th in rebounding. Offensive rebounding, that is. Total's gone under in 6 of the last 7 for the Kings. The 76ers, though, 11-6. 6-8-1 against the spread. Yesterday's 96-101 lost to champion Raptors. Snapped a 4-game winning streak that they were on. Kind of ruined the party, shall we say. 76ers, one of the best home defenses in the league, though. They're 8-0 straight up at home. Total's gone under in 4 of the last 5. They're going to win this at home. I mean, for me, there's no doubt about this. The question is the -8.5 is a question mark for me, and the 213.5 total. Triple B, make it happen for us. Let's make some money on this one.
Let's do it, and I'm all over this game. So lucky for you guys, I'm going to let you make some money a lot of ways in this one. We got the total, we got the game side, and I'll give you a little parlay. You maybe tease up a little bit, and we're just going to kill this one. I absolutely agree with you, Nick. I love Philadelphia at home. You know what I mean? They're the better team. A lot of injuries over there in Sacramento, and they should win. However, I love the Kings to cover that 9 points. So for my parlay players and stuff out there, I go Kings on the money line. I go Sixers on the money line to win straight out, and I'll take under in the total. The Kings are built on their young players, De'Aaron Fox and Marvin Bagley, and they're both out for some serious time. So they're not going to get a lot of offensive production. And with the scoring being one-sided, 214 will be a big chore to beat us. So for my parlay players, take the money line with Philly and the under in this game, and you make a nice parlay with that one. And then for my straight-up players, you got to go Kings plus the 8.5. The Kings they keep it close. They almost beat my Lakers. You know what I mean?
My Lakers too.
Our Lakers.
Our Lakers.
They almost beat our Lakers. Just 1 point of Boston. And these are top quality teams in the league. They came up 1 point shy of winning that game. So getting the 9 points with the Kings in this one, that's too good to pass up. So if you're a straight bettor, betting $100, $1,000 just like that on the money line, the 110 against the spread, 8 points with the Kings is the way to go. And then parlay players, money line and under. Now, for a twist, one more.
Make it quick.
This is my teaser. 7-point teasers. Get the Kings at 15.5 and under 220 and slam it home.
Oh, lovely.
You wanted to make some money?
Lovely.
There it is.
Enjoy the holidays. There's some extra coinage in your pocket.
Yes, sir.
Very nice. Triple B, thank you very much. Good stuff. And by the way, none of these teams, they all suck when compared to my mighty college powerhouse, the UCLA Bruins, who would beat every one of these NBA teams hands down if we ever got to see that.
Every team except Duke.
No, nonsense said kill them. All right. Coming up, we're going to be talking to Tony El Tigre Tellez. We're going to be talking some college football. Triple B, thank you very much. Just a quick reminder, 15% off everything you buy on the site. Use promo code TURKEY. This turkey will be right back, though, in 3 minutes.
Always a pleasure.
Welcome back. Picks and Parlays here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network and streaming live video on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm your host, Nick Geber. Find me on Twitter at Nick Geber. That's Nickgeber. Love to hear from you on Twitter and really everywhere. You can, if you want to participate on the show, all you have to do is comment in one of the comment boxes on any of those platforms. We'll see it here in the studio. We'll endeavor to put it up on the screen and we can have a good old chinwag about it. All right, well, promised you we're going to do some college football. So we're going to do that, and who better to do a little college football with than Tony Tellez. He has been absolutely hot of late, and if you want to know about Tony's picks, I will tell you they're great. T-Gray, how are you today?
I'm doing very good, Nick. Hello to the audience out there. We're into the final couple of weeks of the regular season from college football. I want to let you know out there are 78 bowl slots. There are 72 teams that are bowl eligible. 13 teams can get their sixth win now, to become bowl eligible. So if you're in a small conference like the Sun Belt, Conference USA and the MAC Conference, and you have 6 wins right now, you better get to number 7 because, Nick, whenever there's snubs for 6-win teams, it's usually from those 3 conferences. So that's very important when you're handicapping the small conferences. Those 3 conferences, you really got to get the 7 wins to get in a bowl game.
Right, absolutely. Well, we do have a number of the teams that we're talking about today. Every single one of the teams are over 7 wins. But we do have a couple of interesting, if we're talking about bowl games, because one of the teams we're talking about is really Michigan State. I mean, they need this win to get a premier bowl game. They're not going to make the college football playoffs. I know they hope to. Why don't we start with this one, which quite honestly, T-Gray, has to be considered one of the premier games of the weekend in college football, I would think. Ohio State, Michigan State, in terms of entertainment value. You got Ohio State 11-0, 8-3 against the spread, coming off a 28-17 win over Penn State. Last year, Ohio State snapped the Wolverines' 10-game winning streak, so there's a little bit of history here going on because for Michigan State, they're 9-2, 7-4 against the spread. They've been both winning and covering. Last game was a 39-14 win over Indiana, and as I mentioned here, they need a win to get to a Premier Bowl game. Tony, break this one down for me, and this is one I'm really looking forward to.
Yes, Nick, we're looking here at Ohio State and Michigan. Michigan will be the home team. We have a current line right now, Ohio State favored by 9.5. There are some 8.5s and 9s out there. That line is all over the place like we see during the middle of the week. Total sits here at 51, but I got to tell you something. The Wolverines defense has really stepped up at home where they've allowed opponents just 226 yards and 11 points a game. Now, the Buckeyes defense on the road, they've shown up, holding opponents to 229 yards, 47% completion rate. And, in that win last week, looking at Penn State and Ohio State, 28-17, Penn State was really aided by those 2 turnovers, or else they would have ended up with 3 points. So a really good defensive performance by the Buckeyes heading into this game. And, Nick, looking at these teams right now, the way the defense is going, and again, this game being played in Michigan, I really think we're looking here at a lower scoring game, and I'm really going to go here under 51.
So I have it at 50. Of course, it is Michigan, not Michigan State. I want to apologize for putting that out there. It's just a slip of the tongue for me. For me, Michigan State, it's all the same. But of course, it's 2 different schools. This is the Wolverines we're talking about. However, I have 50.5 points, Tony. Does that move up to 51?
Yeah, like I said, the middle of the week, you're going to see a lot of line variation. So do your shopping. And of course, when you're looking at totals, especially at this number, you better make sure you get the best number. 51 is out there. It did open at 54, but we've seen some money come in on the under because I think people are looking at Michigan's defense at home and how they've been able to step up. And of course, Ohio State will probably be the best defensive team. Well, I think these are both teams. Michigan facing the best defensive team they've seen. Ohio State facing the best defense they've seen this year. And we saw one thing that really got my attention here is how Penn State made those second half adjustments, really put pressure on Justin Fields. He looked like he was a little shaken up in that game. Ohio State said it's nothing, he's okay. We'll see how he performs here in this one because I like the way Penn State came out defensively in that second half, really to keep Ohio State to only 28 points. And I think, it was a physical game for Ohio State. And interesting here in a back-to-back spot here now facing Michigan. I think we're in for a pretty good game here.
So I have Ohio State +9, or Michigan -9. Is that still the valid number?
Yeah, actually, you got it reversed there. It's Ohio State is the road favorite here at 9.
Pardon me, yes.
Although
Right.
you can shop and find 9.5s, 8.5s. Like I said, middle of the week, there's going to be a huge line variations across these sports books. But I would lean to the favorite for this reason. I just don't have a lot of faith in Shea Patterson, the Michigan quarterback, stepping up here against a really good defense. I mean, I followed Shea Patterson's career when he was with Ole Miss. Whenever he would step up in these really good games against those good SEC defenses, he did not perform. And I just think that you can keep this under double digits. I think you're looking at a 10 to 14 point win here for Ohio State, but the game's staying under.
All right, you got it from El Tigre, Ohio State, Michigan. Let's move up. Next one, Wisconsin, Minnesota. This is number 12, Wisconsin, number 10, or Minnesota. This, for me, is an interesting match, Tigre, because the winner is going to take the Big Ten championship, correct? That's the way I see it. This is essentially their championship game, right? I mean, it's not their championship game,
it is in
but
their division.
So the winner's going to win the division here.
Yeah, the winner takes the division. They'll face Ohio State the following week in the Big Ten title game. But more importantly, if you get a win here, you're looking at a New Year's Day bowl game because, these bowl tie-ins for the Big Ten are very good and a lot of money for these schools. And, of course, for these coaches, if you can get into one of those New Year's Day bowl games, you can really do very well. So this is a very important game for both teams here, not only for the division, but getting a shot at even a Rose Bowl berth if you beat Ohio State the following week. So there's a lot at stake here in this game. We have Minnesota here. They had opened a 3-point, Wisconsin had opened a 3-point favor on the road. We've seen some money come in on Minnesota. So right now, Wisconsin's favored 2.5. The total sits here at 47.5. You're looking here. One thing about the Golden Gophers, they have responded well after that loss at Iowa, posting a nice road win at Northwestern. They did cover that game. Those are kind of tricky spots. That little sandwich game there with Northwestern. They got the job done.
They came back and beat Northwestern, I think, last week, right? Minnesota?
That was definitely a spot where you have to be concerned about in that one. But they were able to get through it, got through Northwestern, a tricky spot. And one thing about Minnesota, their past 3 games, is they are moving the football 438 yards, and they're throwing for 306. Tanner Morgan, past 3 games, 70% completion rate, 306 yards. We haven't seen this type of quarterback play from Minnesota in years. I can't even think the last time we've seen it because the quarterback, they've always been a program that's had inaccurate quarterbacks, barely completing 50% of their passes, but they're getting good play from their quarterback. But the one thing with the Badgers, though, they've failed to cover road games, losses at Illinois. Of course, they had recent non-cover against Iowa. Overall, they failed to cover 4 of their past 6. They weren't even able to separate enough at home to cover against Purdue last week. And Purdue is, a team that's been hampered by a bad quarterback play. But when you look at the Wisconsin defense on the road, past 2 games, they allowed 497 yards at Nebraska, 431 at Ohio State. I believe Minnesota's going to be able to move the ball. We saw them move the ball effectively at home against Penn State. That was a huge game. I'm going to take the points here at Minnesota plus 2.5.
You're going to take the points, Minnesota plus 2.5. Something interesting about Wisconsin that I saw, which was they had their highest yardage in 5 years. They got 603 total yards against Purdue last week. Okay, Purdue, I get it. But, we talk about momentum, and I know, we talk about momentum in sports a lot, but I mean, they've got to be flying high after that.
Yeah, I mean, that was a nice victory for Wisconsin, rolling over Purdue, a team that really has a poor offensive production since they lost their quarterback. I mean, they took a big hit, a huge difference there in quarterback play. Purdue not being able to move football, but they couldn't get enough separation. Despite all that yardage, they couldn't get enough separation on Purdue to cover the spread last week. Yeah,
that's strange. All right, you have it there. Let's do the last one. Let's do Iowa State versus Kansas. This is the Big 12 showdown. Iowa State 7-4, 6-5 against the spread, coming off a 41-31 win over Kansas. By the way, this is Kansas State, this game. That was a 41-31 win over Kansas. Quarterback Brock Purdy has 3,575 yards, 26 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Some pretty good numbers. They've won 2 in a row, Iowa State. And Kansas State, well, the last outing was a 30-27 win over Texas Tech that included a 100-yard kickoff return by Joshua Youngblood. We love to see that. It's one of the reasons that we tune into these games, for plays like that. Iowa State is 11-4-2 against the spread in its last 17 on the road, and Kansas State 5-1 against the spread in its last 6 Big 12 games. I got total of 46.5, and I think I have Iowa State -5. I don't know if that's changed, but that's what I saw this morning.
Yes, Nick, it is Iowa State -5. That line opened Iowa State -3, but it's moved 2 points to -5 because Kansas State top running back James Gilbert may not play in this game due to injuries. It's been undisclosed. So those undisclosed injuries are always tricky to figure out, but the line their movement here is telling you they'll be without their top running back. And that is a problem here for Kansas State because quarterback Skylar Thompson has not been very accurate, and he doesn't run the football anymore. I mean, when Thompson was a runner, the Wildcats were effective. When you look up and down the numbers, his rushing numbers are way down. You always got to wonder, maybe there's some soreness, maybe there's some injury. He doesn't want to get worse because he's not running the football anymore, and he's not an accurate passer, just 57% of his completion percentage. So you have to really be worried here about Kansas State in this spot. As we said, they are bowl eligible. They're not going to, they're going to go into one of their, second-tier bowl games like they usually do. But I would definitely prefer the offense from the Hawkeyes in spot, laying the 5.5. They are moving the football. Looking at their past 3 games, 477 yards, 336 yards passing. Of course, as you talked about, Brock Purdy, very accurate passer. They're 65% completion rate, 11 touchdowns, only 2 picks in November. And they've got double-digit wins at Texas Tech and West Virginia. Yeah. And Kansas State has dropped 4 games against the Big 12 this season, and some of them were ugly ones.
By the way, we'd love to hear from you out there. Join the discussion, #ParlayRadio, or you can fill out the social media boxes on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We'll see your comments and put it up here on the screen. Tony, I think we are just about out of time. So is that right? Yes, we are. We got to go to break. We'll be right back after this. Tony, thank you so much.
Goes 17. I gotta
You're
go.
back with us here on Picks and Parlays. I'm your host, Nick Geber. Thanks for tuning in. Find me on Twitter, at Nick Geber. I'm in for Chelsea Messenger, who is having a baby. In fact, we should check and see if it came today. We're all very excited. I did promise you, and I have been teasing, that Higgy Smalls will be joining us this segment to talk some NFL football. And being that I'm a man of my word, I will do that. But before we do that, I want to tell you, picksandparlays.net, we have loads of free picks. And when you're ready to take your betting intelligence up a notch, our expert free picks are there for you. Every one of our handicappers you see on this show is on the site. Now, because of Thanksgiving, gobble gobble, you can gobble up some big profits with 15% off the website. Use promo code TURKEY. Don't be a turkey. Put turkey in, get 15% off, and gobble up some profits. In the meantime, let's get to our NFL with Higgy Smalls. Higgy, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. No truth to the rumor that I'm having a baby. I'm just a big guy.
Well, I'm glad to hear it because I do know that you were out celebrating Mongolian Republic Day. And even better than that, I understand you are throwing a National Cake Day party at your house a little later today. I will be there.
We are. My wife was baking cakes all day. We have cheesecakes and upside down cakes.
Ooh,
and besides the fact
favorite.
that for breakfast it was just a Mongolian barbecue all morning, and now it's just cakes all night.
What
it's
a perfect day.
Time.
Who needs Thanksgiving when you have the incredible doubleheader of it's almost a parlay. It's a winning parlay in and of itself. Mongolian Republic Day followed by National Cake Day all the same time. Doesn't get better than that. But let's talk some NFL football, shall we? Let's start with Bears Lions. These are the Thursday games. The Bears 5-6, 3-8 against the spread. They didn't cover in their last win over the Giants. The Lions 3-7-1. They're 4-7 against the spread after their loss to Washington. And that line opened with Detroit as 1.5-point favorites. But after the Washington game, they're now +1. So that game really cost them in terms of the line. The total opened at 41. It's dropped down to 39. In fact, we talked about this on Monday with Craig during our opening line report during Craigulation time. It's a short week for the Bears. Matthew Stafford is again doubtful for the Lions. The Bears are now -2.5. The total 38.5. Higgy Smalls, tell me how it is.
Yeah, 2.5. I do actually see some threes now creeping up. 38.5 is the total. Listen, I mean, you expect this line to be where it's at. You got a backup quarterback. I mean, Driscoll was sacked 6 times, 3 interceptions last week versus the Redskins, and good. Haskins gets a win for them. That's wonderful. But this Detroit
more
team
times than Tony Sanchez.
Who's Tony Sanchez?
The coach of UNLV.
Oh,
little Las Vegas joke. Sorry, just got sacked.
Yeah,
from
I
UNLV
lost at that. I'm like, Adam, it's tough enough keeping up with the guys' names. I don't know. I sure as heck don't know most of these coaches, especially for a miserable team like that. But anyway, let's get back to on point here, Nick. All right, we're talking NFL football, not college with a high school coach. I know that. I know he was a high school coach. That was for sure. That didn't work out too well. But speaking of coaches like Patricia, I thought this team was going to be a little better this year with Detroit. But, you get injuries. Once a quarterback goes down, it is, all bets are off. All bets are off. You got to like the under here, though, 38.5. I mean, we've seen the Trubisky show. Who knows if he's going to come in here with his mysterious hip injury. Maybe they pull him out if it's not going well, since it's never going well in these games. They never pull them. So, but I'm going to lean to the under here in this first game, 38.5. You got to go under this Bears defense. If the Redskins, and I hate saying stuff like this, but if the Redskins are getting to this guy 6 times, what is Khalil Mack might get him 6 times himself?
Yeah.
I mean, got to go under. Have to go under here.
So we're going to take the under. The total was 38.5. Bears Lions.
Yeah.
Let's move right along, shall we? Why don't we do the Saints at Falcons next? Because this is a bit of a deja vu here from just a few weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, the Falcons had that huge Week 10 upset against the Saints. And they actually were 14-point underdogs. And I remember that, but then I thought it was 12, but I looked, it was 14-point underdogs. The win was the only time the Falcons have won a game since 2010 as an underdog of 7 or more points. The Falcons are 1-9 straight up, while other teams favored by a touchdown or more. The opening line on this was Saints -7. where are we now, and what's the total?
And still hanging at 7. Totals at 48.5. And I got to be honest. You first look at these teams, you're like, man, 2 dome teams. Matt Ryan, Drew. You're thinking over. But how about 9 of the last 12 have gone under the total?
Yeah.
In the series, and I mean, a 48.5. A year ago this time, this game was 61.5. So a 13-point adjustment is all you need to know about these teams. The Saints, listen, wild game last week, but I expect the defense to show up here. All right. This Falcons team, I've said it before when we talked about them. They are not the same since Shanahan took the show to San Francisco. Matt Ryan's had like 2 really good years. And the Super Bowl year, he had like 38 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. And 2 years ago, last year, 35 and 7 breakdown. This year, 18 and 11. Typical. He's going to have his 14, 15 interceptions. Average at best quarterback here. I don't know if I could really lay the touchdown here. I mean, you got the whole revenge angle, but the Saints, I thought they were going to blow out Carolina last week with Allen at quarterback. You send a young quarterback on the road in the dome versus Breeze of Payton. I thought the defense looked more improved for the Saints, but that seeing last week's game, and you hate to say, just take one game and say, that's going to hurt me. But the division home dog, I can't lay a touchdown because this Falcon team, 26-9 on the road, and then they beat Carolina on the road after that. So it could be a desperate play for them. I'm going to lean towards the under here, though. 48.5, and the numbers back it up. Here. These guys are under teams. The offense for Atlanta has just been a no-show most of the year. So I'm going to go under 48.5. I lean towards the dog a little bit with the Falcons, but more on the under, I think.
So, you're going to lean to the Falcons a little bit, but you're going to take the under 48.5. That's where it is right now.
Yeah.
All right. Last game. Oh, yes. Was it Bills at Boys, I believe, is what we're going to do. Bills versus Cowboys. Buffalo 8-3, 7-3-1 against the spread, coming off a 20-3 smackdown of the Broncos. They've won 3 of the last 4 and 5 of the last 7. A little bit of Big Mo apparently is on their team right now. And they've got a tough schedule ahead, though, where they've got the Ravens and they've got the Patriots they've got to look forward to in the next couple of weeks. Josh Allen, only 1 interception in the last 6 games. That is a great stat. The Cowboys, 6-5, 7-4 against the spread. They've converted just 2 of 13 third downs. This was last week. Of course, they were playing the Patriots and their insane defense. We'll all agree on that. But they converted just 2 of 13 third downs. They were 0-2 in the red zone, but a much better team at home. The line on this is the total's 45, and I've got Dallas actually at plus 6.5. Is that right?
No, Dallas is laying 6.5, 7 right now.
6.5, 7. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you like on this one?
And the total's 45. Well, I got to say I have a top premium play on the side here. So I could try not to give away that. So if you want the Thursday sure shot, I got it up. So go get it and use that promo code Turkey, 50% off. But I'm going to give you the side here, the total rather, because I got the side. So total, you look at a 45 here, and you mentioned the game on Sunday. Total deluge of weather there. That had a lot to do with it because both defenses, you got a 13-9 game. It's like the 85 Bears coming out there, But this game, you get the short week.
With William Refrigerator Perry?
Yeah.
Oh,
there was a good defense back in the day.
And the Icky Shuffle?
That was the Bengals.
That was the Bengals, yes. The same to
Icky
me.
Shuffle.
Yeah, the Icky Shuffle. Yeah. Now, do you do that dance on National Cake Day?
I do that dance whenever I get cake in the house. I'm just happy there's cake.
All right, let's get back to it.
How about this?
Sorry.
I've been into it before. You know how big I am. Believe it or not, I'm not a huge, big sweet eater, if you could believe that. That's not even a lie.
Really?
Honest to God. Yeah.
So what is it, cheesesteak? Because I have my own vices,
yes,
too.
Turkey and cheese. Yeah, turkey, cheese, mayonnaise, and a nice roll of rye bread. Sign me up. That's all I want.
Oh, nice. We'll get that El
tuna fish, yes.
Yeah.
That's it. That's how I roll. Literally, I roll when you're just big.
All right, well, we were talking totals on the Bills Boys.
Yeah, so Bills, short week, yes, but it's just a tricky short week because it's Thanksgiving. But Bills 8-3, last 11 going under. Cowboys are 7-40 over, but that, again, you kind of skewed because they have higher totals, bad teams. Bills got a solid defense. The Cowboy defense is a bend don't break unit. I just don't think Buffalo's gonna totally come in and roll over to Dallas. That's not going to happen. It's not like the Cowboys off a bad game where the offense looks pathetic is going to come in here and score 50 points. We've seen that the play calling alone dictates that this is going to be a low scoring game. And I got to believe that. Josh Allen, again, here he comes on the road. It's one thing being bad teams, but Cowboys are a good team. So that hasn't happened. He's going to come in. It's going to be one of these the 20-17 type low scoring affairs. I just don't see a lot of points being put on the board here. So 45 points, under. No way.
I'm going to take the under 45. And of course, it is your play right now up at picksandparlays.net. And if you want it.
Yeah, I got a nice little write up on it. Go get it. Sit back at afternoon, watch the game, cash, turkey, and cash money all together at 6 o'clock. You'll be counting your money after this one rolls in.
Beauty of it is right now you can do that. You can get Sean's play here. You can get the Higgy Small special 15% off on the website right now. Use promo code TURKEY. Don't be a turkey.
We could call it the Higgy Shuffle. The Higgy Shuffle.
I love it. The Higgy Shuffle. Yes, I love it. Yeah, well, I think it's all good. Well, we got a lot of time here. So we got anything else for us? Because we just ran through 3 games like almost at a sprint.
All right, how about we got NBA tonight? We could do
let's do
Clippers. I like the Clippers tonight.
Why not? What you got?
We got Clippers in the NBA.
Oh, let's talk Clippers. I like the Clippers. Well, not as much as the Lakers, but I'll tolerate them.
I like the Clippers. Listen, these guys, I said, we did this yesterday. This is going to be like one of those statement games. They're playing against a better team. It looks like everybody's suiting up. I like the Clippers big tonight. I think there's going to be a big win.
What's the total on the Clippers?
It's 2, and I think it was like 228 if I saw that. If I'm leaning on that, I'm going to go over. But I think the Clippers are just going to win this. So I'm more focused on the side here. So I like the Clippers by 10. Let's go Clippers by 10. Big beatdown on the road here of the hot Mavericks. Everybody's high on Mavericks. I get it. They're good. Nice young team. But I don't know, man. Clippers are, again, we've seen this like in the past with Golden State and your LeBron-led Miami Heat, and even when he's on the Cavaliers. The team that's supposed to be like knocking on the door is going to be good. No. The team that's sitting on top is going to come out and let them know their place in the pecking order, and I think that's what's going to happen tonight in Dallas. So Clippers, big way tonight for me.
All right, well, they have a little extra play for you, an extra free pick. The Clippers tonight in the NBA. Higgy Smalls, always an absolute pleasure. And once again, you can find Sean's picks up on our site, picksandparlays.net. We do have lots of free picks for you, but when you are ready to go with the top sports intelligence you can possibly get, pick up our expert picks, and in celebration of Thanksgiving, you can become much smarter for 15% off. Use promo code TURKEY. Promo code TURKEY. All right, we've given out a lot of picks today, and we certainly thank you for staying with us. And I know you've missed some of them, and you're kicking yourself. You're like, oh, no, I wanted to bet. I wanted to do college basketball. I wanted to do some NBA, and I missed it. Well, don't worry. I know, because I know you said it just like that. Oh, no, I wanted to do some NBA. I'm going to recap all of our picks right after the break. So stay with us here. Picks and Parlays. We'll be right back.
Once again, that's 800-932-5517.
Do you owe $10,000 or more on at least 2 federal student loans? Then you may qualify for new programs offered by the Department of Education. These programs can reduce your interest, lower your payments, and possibly qualify you for loan forgiveness. If you have $10,000 or more and at least 2 federal student loans and currently not in school, you may qualify for one of these programs. Call now to check your eligibility. Student loan advisors are standing by to help you determine if you qualify for these new programs. They can help you reduce your interest, lower your payment, and even forgive a portion of your student loan debt. Take control of your financial future. Make this free 5-minute free call now to Nationwide Student Loans and learn how you can reduce your student loan debt.
800-439-7851, 800-439-7851, 800-439-7851, 800-439-7851.
Welcome back to Picks and Parlays as we round out this Mongolian Republic Day edition of the show. I'm your host, Nick Geber. Find me on Twitter at Nick Geber. I know I promised you that I would recap all of our picks, which I'm going to do in just 1 second. But before I do that, I want to remind you, go to picksandparlays.net, special today, well, all the way through Thanksgiving week. Use promo code TURKEY for 15% off everything on the site. That's right, 15% off everything on the site. And if you're wondering what to put your bets on, here were the free picks we gave out for you today, starting with Triple B, Tony Brown, doing some NBA. Here's what we had from Tony. We started with Kings at 76ers. He said, take the under 213.5. Heat at the Rockets, take the Rockets -5. And Timberwolves at Spurs, take the Spurs -2. And then Tony Tigre Tellez gave us some great picks. Ohio State at Michigan, take under 51. Wisconsin at Minnesota, take Minnesota +2.5. And Iowa State at Kansas State, take Iowa State -5.5. And then, of course, Higgy Smalls, Sean Higgs. We had a couple NFL picks for you. Bears at Lions, take the Bears -3. And Cowboys at Bills, take the under. I think we had another one in there too. I just don't remember which one it was. Did I miss one? No, that was it. All right, well, there are your picks. Find them on the site, picksandparlays.net. Lots of free picks. And just a reminder, we're here with you each and every weekday from 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. on the left coast, 1 hour, nothing but free picks for you here on the show. Again, our website, picksandparlays.net. We're also got live video on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. If you missed any part of the show, you can find a replay of the show on those platforms, as well as our podcast, which is available every day on the Believe Podcast Network, BLEAV. All right, I will be back tomorrow. Rest assured, lots more free picks, and we still have that turkey code for 15% off going through the end of the week. Until then, enjoy the sports, bet wisely, make an absolute chunk of change, and as always, bet, win, repeat.